Perfect. So, welcome to Express Flow Yoga on this, hump day. A bit of spring in the air, I think, wherever you're at, and we're in that kind of crossover between the seasons where we've got one foot in a bit of impatience and wanting to get on with things and come out of our shells, and then another that's kind of still in a little bit of wanting things to be safe and protected and all of that. So in however you might use that in your practice this morning, just to be allowing and present to what is actually here right now. And if you have a sock or a strap that you might be able to grab, we can use that for some shoulders. Otherwise, there's nothing that you need. You can, of course, use whatever props you like if you do use blocks or pillows or anything to be more comfortable. We're going to begin lying down, and I have a bell that I will ring just to give a bit of a habitual signal to our beings that we're coming into this practice. So just stretching out on your back, giving it a little bit of a shake, and you can lengthen the legs, or knees can be bent with the feet wide and the knees into touch. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell. Adjusting any of the body parts so that you can be with relative ease and feeling the body parts that are supported by the ground, behind the heels, the head, the hips, the hands between the shoulder blades, rooting down, some equanimity, some anchoring, some settling of energy into the back body as you begin to arrive. Being aware or feeling the body just in this shape of being open and stretched out. Maybe other things that you might be aware of if you already knew of a spot where you're holding some tension, or you might feel where that is right now more predominantly. For me, it's really in the face. It's the concentration or the after effects of a lot of thinking. Take a few breaths with some awareness to where the sensations of breathing are occurring in the lower, mid, and upper lungs, in the front and back of your body, the lungs three-dimensionally, just doing what they do. If you like to engage in the Ujjayi ocean wave breathing, then the breath can be in and out through the nose now, a little longer and deeper. Filling the tank on the inhale, and then just emptying and deflating and releasing, willing to let some things go with the exhale. Let's take a big stretch. So reach the arms beyond the back of your mat, and reach the legs long, and flex the heels and engage everything here. So make fists with the hands. Feel the belly dropping in towards the floor, even though the low back won't touch down. Just feel all of the engagement and contraction that goes into you holding your body in this shape. The abdominal muscles engaging the ribs, knitting down, and taking a couple of breaths here. It might be a little bit hard to breathe in this shape. Squeeze the muscles of your face all to center so everything is taut. And then let it go. Exhale. Just feel out the difference. You can give your feet a little windshield wiper. Blink open the eyes and hug the knees in towards the chest. And take a few rocks side to side. Have the knees a little bit wide with the heels just hanging down. Magnets on the heels towards the sits bones. And keep the weight of the pelvis heavy, the tailbone towards the floor. Just rocking left and right across the entire back. And then stretch out again long, breathing in. And walk the heels over towards the right and walk the head and shoulders to the right and hold on to the left forearm or elbow with your right hand and drop the chin down towards the chest, and we'll take 2 full breath cycles on this side. It's feeding the breath, allowing thoughts or any emotional tone to be there without having to feed that storyline. Walking through center and stretch out long, inhale. And heels over to the left, upper body to the left as well. So you create a nice C shape, holding the right forearm or wrist or anything that you can grab onto with the left hand for 2 full breath cycles on this side. Can the outer right hip be a little heavier? And the right shoulder, right ribs, finishing the next exhale. Through center for 1 more big stretch out. And exhale, knees towards the chest, chin towards the chest as well. You can hold under your thighs or on tops of your shins and squeeze yourself into just a tight little seed ball, reaching the tailbone long and dropping the shoulders away from the ears. You might roll to one side from here or rock forward and back along the spine a few times, finding a bit of a hammock in the lower spine. And then come all the way up, bring the soles of the feet together and have a long diamond shape as you take it into a forward fold there. And we'll take 2 full breath cycles, draping the spine forward and feeling the undulations of breath moving through the belly, through the back. Lifting up on the inhale and bring the fingertips behind the back and take the feet wide now, maybe even right off your mat. Drop the knees over towards the left and press into the right shin. So the right hip lifts up. Inhale through center, knees track up and then over to the other side. The left shin presses. You might come up on your left fingertips and feel the left hip lift and the left knee reach forward. Exhale through center. Let's do 1 more time over towards the left. The right shin presses down. Inhale, center and over towards the right. And back through center. Let's cross the legs just at the ankles and come forward to the hands and knees. Start to send the hips up and back and take it towards an extended child's pose. Let the elbows drop towards the floor. And then shift forward so it feels like a plank pose. And then bring the elbows towards the floor again, squeezing a little between the shoulder blades. Inhale to press up in towards that plank pose, and then exhale, elbows and forearms drop towards the floor. Let's do 3 more like that, shifting to plank, just a knee down plank, your belly's lifted, and then elbows, forearms squeeze towards the floor. Keep the belly toned in both directions. Let's come forward 1 more time and exhaling, take it back. Let's bring the elbows right down now. Walk the knees in a little bit, and you could clasp your hands together here. Might give a break for the wrist. Pull the belly in as you drop the head towards the floor, looking back towards your knees, and then again, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Coming out of any hunched over shapes, And rounding again, looking back towards the knees, and then the opposite to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Look back towards the knees, puff up between the shoulder blades, and step the right foot back and then the left foot back. So find a plank in the torso, and then look forward. See if you can still keep some space moving between the shoulder blades. And the knees could be touching down, or you can keep them lifted, pressing back through the heels for 3, 2, and 1. Tap the knees down. Walk the elbows a little bit forward for Sphinx pose, stretching the legs back. Hands clasped or shoulder distance apart and looking over the right shoulder. Just scanning for what's over on that side. Sort of mimicking with the body what we're used to doing with the mind, looking for what's around, back to center, and then over towards the left. Inhale through center and lower down, bring the hands to the low ribs, press up and back through table. Curl the toes under and send the hips high for downward facing dog. Just warming up the hamstrings, press away from the palms and bend the knees deeply on an exhale. Lift the seat a little higher. Keep the seat up that high as you inhale. See about dropping the heels a little, not forcing anything. And then exhale, deeply bend the knees. Hips stay high. Inhaling to let the heels heavy. Maybe lift the toes if your heels do come right down. And then bend the knees again there. Exhale. Let's just come back to a more neutral downward facing dog now. Sending the belly back towards the thighs. And bring the big toes together. We'll take the right leg up and back for a 3-legged dog. You can have a bend at the left knee and the left heel might be lifted. So you get that long stretch out through the spine. Bring the right knee towards the nose and shift the shoulders over the wrists and then reach up and back again. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, heel lifts, shoulders over wrists. Stretch it back, breathing in. Let's bring it forward this time with a little height and a little momentum and step the right foot up and slide the left foot back. Just come to the fingertips there and stay light with a little bit of a core lift. Tap the back knee down. And then stretch out the back heel again. So the knee does lift, but the hips don't go too far. Tap the back knee down, exhale. And then press it out again, inhale. Exhale, tap the back knee down. You can keep the toes curled under or bring the top of the foot down, and we'll take it into a crescent lunge. Taking the left wrist and a side stretch up and over towards the right. Spending a little extra time here to feel the left hip flexor, psoas, quad. Just breathe in there and bring the hands back down. Let's pick up the back knee, push off the back foot and step up towards the front. Lengthening up halfway. And fold on the exhale. Halfway lengthen. Exhale to fold. One more time, just come up halfway and loop the shoulders back. Exhale to fold again and press the palms and step back again, just downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here, or you can come to child's pose. My cues are all suggestions, trying to just settle back into the breath now and then. An option now to come forward to plank pose and tap the knees down to lower. And then into a cobra or a gecko with the fingertips wide for a breath. Exhale to lower and slide the hands back. One more time, take it to downward facing dog or meet in downward facing dog if you were somewhere else. Big toes together, and then the left leg reaches up and back. A bend in the right knee, right heel can lift so that
Might make it easier to square the hips and draw the belly in. Left knee to the nose, shoulders over the wrists. And reach up, inhale. And left knee to nose, heel to bum, lifting the hips pretty high. Stretch back, breathing in. Exhale, come forward this time, lift and step. And press out through the right heel. Finding that long lunge, tap the right knee down just for a moment. Exhale. Stretch out through the right heel, inhale. Exhale, the whole front line, opening up. One more time, press out through that back heel. And then tap the knee down, crescent lunge, top of the foot down, or keep the toes curled under. Reaching the arms up. Moving the ribs back a little bit, and then go ahead and settle in. Next, inhale, we'll move the ribs back a bit and take the left hand to the right wrist for a side stretch. A couple of breaths on that side without feeling that the hips are moving over to either side. Scissoring the inner thighs, inhale, center. And exhale, bring the fingertips down. Pick up the back knee one more time. Leaning a little bit forward and then floating the right foot up to breathe in. Feet hips distance apart now and fold, exhale. Let's bend the knees, take another breath there. And roll all the way up, slow, ragdoll, just reversing, restacking. Loop the shoulders a couple times around and down the back. And if you do have a sock or a strap there, use that now. Finding some astiti or equal standing with the legs, lifting the toes, feeling the arches, and then reaching the arms above the head. Let's take it into a cactus shape, exhale. And then reach up, inhale. Exhale, take it into a cactus shape and reach it up, inhale. Adjust the band, or if you don't have a band, then just working with that, like you're moving through something thick. Breathing in and then exhale there and pause. Let's step a little bit wider and turn the toes out now and take it in towards a wide goddess squat. Finding the glutes a little bit there and squeezing them in as a way of just opening the knees a little further. The feet don't have to be super turned out. Stretch it up. Inhale, let's lift the heels. Or try, strengthen the ankles, and then exhale, take it into that squat. Reaching it up. And exhale, come back down. Inhale one more time. And exhale there. Let's just lose the strap for a moment. Bring the hands to the inner thighs and drop the right shoulder, looking left. Inhale, center, and switching to look right. Inhale, center. Let your head just come into your shoulders. So just feel the weight. You're giving all of the weight of the brain, of the mind, of the feeding stories, just into the body, just to carry that, shifting side to side. And last thing, let's come out of that shell a little bit. Press the palms together for 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze and lift all the way up. And release the arms down the back. Just do a few big circles with the arms, with the knees a little bit bent. You can even add the leg movement into that. It's coming up and back in your own rhythm. Let's do that 3 more times. 2 and 1. Keep the arms forward, coming Utkatasana or fierce pose. Shifting the weight a little further back into the heels. And option, if you want a little more heat, just to lift the heels a smidge. Squeezing the inner thighs together for 3, 2, and 1. Coming up here. So you can use the strap if your shoulders are tight, or you can bring the hands around behind the back to clasp them. So for me, I do have the tight shoulders, or a sock. And we'll come back into that chair pose, breathing in, and then fold over a bent knee. Legs straighten out a little bit, arms reach away from the back. Drop back in the seat, inhale. And exhale to fold. Let's do that again, breathing in. Fold, exhale, and stay there. And try taking a really deep bend with the right knee so the left leg straightens out a bit and the arms can go to the left. And then back through center, deep bend of the left knee, arms moving to the right leg straightens out a bit. Inhale through center, exhale, release the strap, come up halfway. And then palms plant and stepping back, downward facing dog. Stay here or puppy or child's pose, or take it through a vinyasa to plank. You can use fists or palms, or you can be on the elbows for plank. And we'll tap the knees down and lower all the way to the belly. Loop the shoulders up and back, inhale. Exhale to lower. Slide the hands back. Child's pose or downward dog for 3, 2, and 1. From downward dog, we'll bring the big toes together again and we'll reach the right leg up. This time we'll open up the hip. You could also do this from hands and knees in a tabletop shape. We'll bend the right knee so the right heel tracks towards the left sits bone. Reaching the knee a little bit higher for the last breath. And then stretch that leg back out again. Bring the right knee towards the nose. And this time we'll take it into a pigeon pose. So right knee to the right wrist and sliding the left leg back. This is one option to come up on the fingertips. You could tuck a couple of socks underneath your sits bones or bring in a pillow or a towel, anything that you have there. Just going to stay upright for a little bit, or pigeon pose with both knees bent. So your front shin, your right shin will be parallel with the front of the mat, with your left hand pressing against the bottom of the left foot and the right hand pushing off to the side so that your chest is in, sternum is in the center line. A few waves in one of those shapes. And if this isn't good for your knees in either one of those, then let's take it onto the back with the right ankle above the left knee for a figure 4. Feeling for the opening of that right hip with your right hand.